here?
To fight.
To win!
To be a Spartan.
What is a Spartan? A Spartan is a symbol. Hope where there is none. In times of darkness, we are hope. And together, we are unstoppable. Candidates, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Again!
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Good. Who's first?
Hey, hello everyone. What is up? Welcome, Sketch here. We are live inside 343 Industries in Redmond, Washington. I'm excited to be back. We're ready to talk about our next multiplayer preview. Just got a little taste of the main menu there. I know a lot of y'all have been talking about it. Much like we've missed that, right? We've missed the music, we missed the feels, but we are nearly back. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to cover off on what you can expect with our next flight. Got some special guests. We're going to show off some new content and kind of give you a closer idea and a closer look at what you'll be able to play when this next flight lands. Before we do that, though, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends. A lot of folks kind of noticed the 117 hat, some of the cool apparel that our friends at the Gear team have been kicking on lately. Excited to say we have a special little Halo Insider flash promo, if you will. So for the next couple hours, if you wanted to go to gear.xbox.com, use the code Halo Insider 15, you'll get 15% off. So, holidays are approaching. There's some really cool Halo collectibles there to check out. So thanks to our friends at the Gear Shop for helping us out with that. So we are back. If you were with us for the last tech preview, you kind of have an idea of what to expect this time. We have obviously made some progress. You'll find that there's some new things to explore. Teams are working very, very hard now on the road to our launch on December 8th. And we really can't wait to get through this next critical milestone. Our biggest focus for this next tech preview truly is about concurrency. We are ready to get as many people through as we possibly can to play at the same time. And our goal is to push our services and infrastructure as hard as we can just to help us make sure that we are ready and able to have a smooth launch come December. Now, before we get too much further, I wanted to share some breaking news here because, the whole nature of a flight is it's about helping us discover and work through problems now versus when it would later potentially impact, retail players once the game is live. We learn something new every time we do a flight, and this is a process that the studio's been doing in some cases for years. Our Halo insiders that have been involved with helping us with MCC know those flights have been instrumental to helping that experience improve and evolve with player feedback in mind. A lot of great updates, bug fixes, quality of life improvements, new features, all of those things were the result of flighting. With Infinite, we've had small flights going for quite some time now. And, back in July was our first true public flight. We learned a ton. There's a big outcomes blog on Halo Waypoint if you haven't seen it that kind of gives you more insights into what the team saw, what some of the key takeaways were, and what you can expect in terms of next steps on how we respond to that feedback. But all that's to say is flighting is still a process in one moment in development, and there's a lot of factors that sort of feed into that. So today, I want to be very transparent that we are excited for this next preview. The selection emails have already gone out. Our hope is that this flight's going to kick off very, very soon. Officially, the build was supposed to go out tomorrow. This may or may not happen. We are potentially going to look at a time shift here. We're not quite sure. When it's ready, it will be ready. We want to be very transparent with you, though. We're very appreciative of all the insider support we see out there, but we might have a small shift in our schedule. And if we do, we should have more clarity on that at some point in the very near future. So we do ask you'll stay tuned to Halo Waypoint. Stay tuned to Halo Social on Twitter in particular. We will provide those updates. So for now, teams are working very, very hard. We're still progressing, but we're in a little bit of a holding pattern due to some late-breaking issues that we found along the way in this release process. So there is a chance that we might have a shift in schedule, but that doesn't really change the rest of what we're going to talk about today, which is giving you a closer look at some of the new content and some of the new experiences that you will be able to enjoy when this flight does land. So today I'm going to first chat with Sarah Stern, multiplayer designer, about bots. We're going to talk a little bit about how the bots showed up in the last tech preview and some of the work that she and the team have done to further improve the bots and sort of what you'll expect to see when this next flight goes live. Then we're going to have a conversation about Academy. We're going to show off a new map as part of that. We've got a new experience called Training Mode that we're excited to demo for you here today. And then we're going to wrap things up with our first official look in detail at Big Team Battle, the new and improved, bigger and better Big Team Battle coming to Halo Infinite. That will currently be part of our second weekend of the flight. But I've got Fernando here with me this afternoon, and we're going to take a closer look and just give you really a firsthand account of a match that's been played on one of our maps called Fragmentation. So to kick things off, I sat down with Sarah Stern the other day to talk to her about bots and the work that's going into that new feature with Halo Infinite. So let's take a look at that, and we'll be back in just a few. Okay, hey everyone. We are going to talk about bots, and Sarah, it is great to have you on the stream. Welcome.
Thanks. Happy to be here. So
before we jump into the nitty-gritty and sort of talk about all the great work you and the team have done on bots, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role here at 343?
So I'm a designer on the multiplayer team. I'm primarily responsible for bots, and a lot of that is kind of looking at the game, looking at multiplayer, looking at our modes, and making sure that we, with the help of our fantastic engineers, get the bots to play the game in a way that's representative of humans.
So obviously bots, huge brand new addition to Halo Infinite multiplayer. We took them out for a preview, a little test drive, and debuted those in our technical preview back in July. Landed really, really well. A lot of excitement around those. But could you just kind of walk us through a little bit about the origin? How did bots come to be? What are the goals and sort of what's the intent that you and the team had when you set out to bring this to the game?
Well, I think Tom did a really good job of kind of setting up the reasoning for why we did this in our last preview when he talked about how multiplayer can be kind of intimidating, right? It can be a little bit scary to dive into, even though it's really fun. And so the goal of bots has always been like, how can we make a tool that allows more people to experience the fun of multiplayer kind of where they're at right now, whether that's I'm just starting the game for the first time and I'm trying to figure out the controls, or it's, I had a rough day at work and I just kind of want to lean back and get some medals and have a good time. We just want bots to be there to kind of expand when multiplayer is available.
So the bots made a big splash in the tech preview. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I'm sorry to say that I'm told that over 65 million bots were actually slayed during the course of that couple days. So suffice it to say that they put in some work, right? And they landed really, really well for the community. But from your perspective, what did you see? How was the response from your perspective? Any big takeaways or sort of things that you and the team were looking for coming out of that first tech preview?
Well, I will say for us, the response was a little bit overwhelming. You know, we've been working on this feature for a long time, and we'd really only said that they were in the game, but we hadn't had a ton of feedback yet on it. And so it was a lot to go from being very quiet to having so many people playing with them, enjoying them, giving us feedback on how they could be better. And the team just kind of ate it up that whole weekend. It was just watching people play and really enjoying it. You know, they definitely had some bugs, some that we knew about going into the preview, especially with their movement around maps. But the preview helped us find a lot of things that we hadn't caught yet or just weren't expecting. Like, we weren't sure where the difficulty stacked relative to the player population, and we got a lot of data that indicated that, yeah, we have some room to make them a little bit more challenging, even though our goal is to provide an onboarding experience. So it was a phenomenal amount of feedback and input that we can just really kind of put to use to make them even better.
Yeah, the difficulty one in particular, I think kind of interesting because, you know, I'll be the first to admit, I think we maybe kind of overhyped it a little bit, right? It's like, oh my gosh, the Spartan bots are coming. We're super scared. Safe to say that, you know, the Spartan bots, while not meant to be punishing, you know, as per your design goals, weren't really the next level that I think you and the team had intended, and certainly not to the extent that we had overhyped this big experience.
For this next preview, one, we've bumped the difficulty kind of across the board, especially because we're now introducing recruit into the mix, so there is another option for that kind of earlier player who wants a lighter experience. So the bot should be a little bit more challenging this time, and we've kind of flipped on a couple of new behaviors that we're interested in seeing. So Spartans will share some information with each other as though they're, you know, teammates trying to call out positions. So really curious to see how people react to that.
We could shift over, like, let's talk about that a little bit more. You know, we have an even bigger preview coming up. The bot arena is back. Also, at some point, I'm pretty sure we'll have a new map added as well, right? It's Behemoth, which we'll see here in a little bit, but it's a vehicular arena map, right? So How does that weigh in when you and the bot team are sort of approaching the design?
That map is interesting. You know, it's a much wider experience. It's got longer sight lines than some of our other maps that you've played on previously, and that can pose different challenges in terms of, you know, what bots get engaged in and what they react to. Bots have some quirks when it comes to vehicles. They know that they don't like them, but they aren't sure how to really deal with them. So that's something that we're aware of. But excited for people to get a chance to use vehicles against some targets and have a good time.
One of the things about bots, you know, that I think is really cool is you and the team have done a great job of they just feel natural. They feel like they're really emulating the way real players play. And at least to me, they don't seem cheap. They don't seem like they have omnipotence or extra health or 100% accuracy. How did that process, like, how hard is it to try and create these AI code pieces that seem to model real life behavior pretty accurately?
And there are parts of it that are pretty straightforward, like things that are kind of button presses, right? Like getting them to shoot, getting them to just throw a grenade is stuff that Halo AI has been doing for a long time. But where it gets difficult is, how do you represent when to do something? When should I shoot versus when should I back off? When should I throw that grenade? When should I push forward? And we've really tried to have that decision making from the bot standpoint be representative of how players at a certain level think, partially so that people know that they're learning when they're engaging with these bots, right? They can see bots mimicking behaviors that they may see in matchmaking, because that's always our goal, is a way to onboard you into playing against other humans. And you can also see bots make mistakes. Like, a way to learn is to see someone do something incorrectly. So you can see a bot, especially at a lower difficulty, not disengage when you had its shields broken. So, like, you can be like, okay, that was a mistake, and I'm going to take that knowledge and use it to improve my gameplay.
Now, you and I talked a little bit earlier before this video about some of the changes and kind of how bots are going to show up in the preview too. One of the things I want to touch on briefly is the bot arena is going to be a little bit different in terms of, last time, you know, we had we went through the bot progression with a different difficulty of bots sort of each day, right? That's not how we're doing it this time. We're going to have one bot playlist, and I think it's just going to sort of be a random assortment of bot difficulty on the enemy team, right?
Yeah, so what that means is that from match to match, you'll have different difficulties of opponents. So you might play a game and have a bot team that is 2 Spartans, a recruit, and an ODST, and your next match might be against 2 Marines and an ODST and a recruit. And what we're doing there is we want feedback on what it feels like to play against mixed teams. We got some feedback from the last preview that playing against all 1 difficulty could feel a little bit flat. And we're also, again, looking for a bunch more data on how these difficulties are stacking against a wide player audience.
And I think, we're going to talk about some of the Academy editions here coming up shortly, but good news is, not to steal thunder from our next segment, but with the addition of training mode, at that point you can configure the bot difficulty. So if you just want to warm up against the recruits, you can do that, right?
Absolutely. If you're going into the bot playlist and you hit a couple matches that are a little bit too intense for you, definitely recommend going into training mode. You'll have a lot more control there over what's spawning and what kind of difficulty settings you want to be engaged with.
So, we have talked a lot over the course of this road to launch about how launch is just the beginning for us. And, that really applies to every facet of the game, from the, multiplayer all the way down to the bots as well. Now, obviously, we're in sort of the shutdown mode here. We are in the in-game, if you will. We don't have that much further to go, until we hit our launch date on December 8th. How are you and the team thinking about sort of bots going forward and sort of, can you tease anything or just sort of give us a hint of sort of where do you see bots going in future seasons beyond launch?
I mean, a lot of it is just looking at what we have in the game now and asking questions about how we can take that to the next level, right? We talked earlier about the quirks they have with vehicles, and that's an active question. Like, how can we improve their interactions with vehicles? How can we represent sort of that really high skill player thinking that we don't have in Spartan necessarily, so that we can provide more warm-up tools for a broader audience? How can we take some of the aspects of their difficulty and make that more customizable? So if someone wants, say, to disable grenade throwing when they're practicing, like, how can we give them those tools? So just, thinking through how we can make it a more useful tool for people. And as part of that, we're going to look at how people engage with them at launch, and that's really going to inform how we move forward.
So, Sarah, before we wrap it up, just any kind of final words or sort of parting thoughts on behalf of the bot team that you'd like to share with our community today?
I think just thank you. Like, it was so helpful to get all of the data and feedback we got from preview 1, and just really exciting and motivating to see people engaging with stuff we worked on for a while, and just excited to get more of that feedback and appreciate everyone's time.
Well, I cannot wait to have another round of insiders, even bigger audience this time, go head to head with some bots that have seen some adjustments and improvements since last time. Different difficulties, little mixing, matching, as Sarah said. So we can't wait to see how you all fare. And of course, looking for your feedback to continue improving as we go forward. We'll be back in just a minute. We're going to sit down and talk about the Academy and some of the new additions that you can look for in this next preview. Be right back. All right, we're back. special thanks again to Sarah for taking some time earlier this week to talk about all the great work she and the bot teams are doing to further enrich our Halo multiplayer experience. And what you just saw there, by the way, just a little tease, little fly through of our big team battle match fragmentation. That'll be available on the second weekend of our upcoming preview. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but first, I'd like to welcome to the stream David Ellis. David, welcome. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. Great to be back.
I know you're no stranger to live streams, but before we jump into the academy, just quickly, who are you? Kind of what do you do here at the studio? What's your role?
Yeah, so I'm a senior multiplayer designer. I've been at the studio since 2010, so I was early days. Back when Halo Reach, you were on the Reach, and
we
I was
actually,
over here.
I remember we both supported the Reach launch event.
That's right.
In fact, we just had the Reach anniversary, so good timing there.
It's been a long time. Neither of us had gray hair at that point.
Yeah, I'm quite a bit hairier. That's fair to say.
Yeah, so I've been at the studio for a long time. I've been working on the game since Halo 4. Was focused on Spartan Ops in Halo 4, and then Halo 5 worked on the campaign, and then Warzone. And over the last several years, I've been working on bringing the Academy feature set. Hoping to bring that forward to Halo Infinite.
Yeah, so we won't go super deep because I know you and the team have helped us on a number of blogs. We've talked about the Academy, but just for folks that might be joining us for the first time or didn't play in the last tech preview, give us the high-level elevator pitch. Like, what is the Academy? How does it fit into the game? And what's the kind of the goal and the intent behind it?
Yeah, so I would encourage everyone to check out the recent Inside Infinite blog. Tom does a great job distilling sort of our key pillars and digging into the why of the Academy. I'm just going to give like the one sentence pitch thing that I've been saying for years. It's like we want to give players a safe space to learn how to Halo. And that's really what it's all about. We are a franchise that's been around almost 20 years. Over that amount of time, there's a lot of institutional knowledge of people just assuming you know how X, Y, and Z works. You hold a charge on a plasma pistol, it's going to strip someone's shields. Not everyone's going to know that. We wanted to provide modes and tools and opportunities for people to be able to learn that while they're not getting shot in the face in multiplayer.
Yeah.
And so when we launch this year on December 8th, we're going to be featuring 3 pillars in the Academy. We're going to have a tutorial, which is like a first for multiplayer in Halo. And that's going to be a linear mission where you're going to explore the Avery J. Johnson Academy of Military Sciences. And you're going to be introduced to Spartan Commander Arena as well. And you're going to have a series of objectives that's going to onboard you into the world and universe that Halo Infinite takes place in. Also give you the opportunity to introduce all the new additions in Halo Infinite. You're going to get your personal AI. You're going to learn about all the different equipment and things like that and help everyone onboard into that experience. And then we have 2 other options too. We have weapon drills, which we had in the previous tech preview. Everyone got to check out a slice of that experience. That, of course, will be coming back with all of our projectile weapons are going to be featured in the weapon drills. And then training mode, which players will get a chance to check out for the first time in our upcoming tech preview, is another feature. And really at its core, it's an unlimited bot Slayer match you get to hop into, but then we have the training options menu layered on top of it. And that lets you play around with, player loadout, all kinds of bot difficulty settings. It's really just a place where you can explore the entire Halo sandbox in a safe way.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Academy. We've talked a lot. Obviously, it was super well received in the tech preview, and I know the goal there is to help onboard and acclimate players, but it also got a little sweaty during that tech preview, right? So, if I'm not mistaken, you were putting the call out there for high scores, and I imagine we'll see people doing that yet again this time.
Yeah, that was fun, and we've actually had a chance to go back and check and make some changes to the weapon drills from that tech preview as well. So I'm excited for people to check out some of those.
Well, why don't we jump in? I think you were going to put me on the spot and make me probably compete and embarrass myself. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool to showcase weapon drills, talk a little bit about what's changed, and then I know for a fact we have at least one new gun that we've added this time as well, which I'm sure people would love to check out. So I'll let you drive.
We're gonna pick up our controllers. No shame in being a controller player out there. We're gonna select weapon drills. I think let's start with the shock rifle, which is a new weapon.
Okay.
And it's towards the top, if I recall. Yeah, it's right underneath the commando rifle.
Yep.
So we're going to play simultaneous is what we're thinking. Let's do Shock Rifle 2.
Shock Rifle 2.
I'm just going to point out we practiced this yesterday. I already have 3 stars.
I played one time. I don't know if I call that practice. I did play one time.
We're talking about practice.
Come on. You told me you were in here this morning like 6 hours early grinding on this.
So I thought it'd be fun just to us both play simultaneously. So Shock Rifle, let's go ahead and start it up. And man, we got right on the same. It's perfect.
Yeah, we're in sync. You know, we also put out the shock rifle high-res render as part of the Inside Infinite blog earlier this week. It looks fantastic. By the way, sorry, shout out to our loading screens, a new addition. A lot of engineers and graphics folks have been working to bring those to life, so that's nice to see. So here we are. We are inside the weapon drill.
And so the shock rifle is kind of I would call it more of a medium to long range.
You're
I went ahead and
going. You
started.
already
I'm
scored.
sorry.
Okay, no, I'm going too then. I'm going too. All right, here we go.
So one of the cool things with it is if you get enemies close enough together, you can actually arc the damage and it'll damage multiple people.
Yeah, I'm not doing good. Don't watch my POV.
So what I'm going to do here is just set up this arc.
Look at this. So also, by the way, this ducking behavior is new, right? They did not duck like this in the tech preview.
So this is the ducking that's sort of like pre-programmed, and we also have some dynamic they can crouch when you're trying to shoot them, which should make the sniper weapon drills quite a bit more challenging.
I got a little bit of an arc reaction.
Spoiler
there.
alert, I won.
Yeah, I can see that.
Although I didn't get 3 stars, I should point that out as well, that we have retuned all the star score values in this, so it should be more aligned with, as you sort of master your skill level, you should be able to move up the chain there.
So a little too easy last time, is that what you're saying?
It was a little too easy from what the data we saw and what we saw, but kind of behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
So,
I do like, by the way, and the arcing effect of that shock rifle is pretty cool. It's enough to kind of weaken nearby opponents and could make the big difference right there.
One bit of advice I would give you, if you're in multiplayer and you see a group of Spartans and one person has the overshield, shoot them first, because you're going to have more opportunities to arc that damage into the group of Spartans, because if you kill someone, you can't then arc off their dead body. So I always go after like the strongest enemy.
Didn't you tell me that it'll also arc off the flagpole as well, like in a CTF game?
Yeah, so gameplay objects, it can arc off vehicles, so you can use all that stuff. And it's, especially in BTB, I don't want to spoil anything from Fernando's segment, but if you can get a really good shock rifle shot, you just see it exploding from across the map. You just see this lightning shooting. It looks like Emperor Palpatine's going nuts.
You said if you get a good shock rifle shot, so I haven't ever experienced that yet, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, speaking of bad shots, I thought we could go into the S7 sniper as well.
Sure, let's just go right to one of the hardest snipers.
And
in the
I
history
think
of
we
Halo.
should go for Sniper 3.
Of course, why wouldn't we?
Because that was the one that everyone was most excited to put up their high score. So let's 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Let's go.
And these are going to be harder targets, I assume, right?
Yep. So you'll see they dynamically crouch now, which they did it before. So everything's just not on an even horizontal plane. So it's a little bit different. Are you ready?
Oh, look, quick tip.
Yep.
Landing headshots consistently is often the difference between victory and defeat. Who would have thunk it? Okay, here we go.
Eliminate the target. Eliminate the target.
Oh, God. Body shot.
Missed one.
Oh, I missed a lot here. It's all about that right reload timing too,
Yep.
huh?
Yep. I'm going to reload after this one. I'm just going to try to get my...
Yeah, this is not good. I hope no one's watching my POV. I should have...
Oh, that was a fortunate spawn.
I should have come in earlier.
Got 20 seconds left.
Yeah, I've only got like 2 kills? Maybe 3?
You know, you'd want to start with Sniper 1. Oh, they crouched. Let's see if I can get a couple more.
I have not graduated to 3, I'll say that.
So one little bit of advice I would give is when they're going back and forth, if you're also strafing as well, you're going to move at the same speed. I find that's easier to kind of hone in your shot and get it just right.
Yeah, I got a new high score, it says. Look at that.
That's great. That's awesome. I didn't even get 3 stars that time. I needed 3 more thousand, so like 1.5 more shots. I missed quite a bit there, but...
Yeah, you know, one thing you and I talked about, and I think we mentioned this before in the blog as well, you know, going forward, seeing the kind of viral competitive nature that emerged on social last time, something you and the multiplayer team have talked about in terms of the future, like leaderboards would be a cool addition.
Leaderboards are absolutely something. We wanted to get them in there for launch, but it didn't quite happen. Definitely, if it's something you're excited about, you want leaderboards and weapon drills, you know, put the call out there in the forums and stuff. Make sure you let us know, because that helps us align as we're planning future content, as we kind of launch this Halo Infinite service. We're partnering with the community, partnering with the players, so that we want to be reactive as much as we can. So if it's something you really want, call for it, and we're going to see if we can make it happen.
I think it's safe to say we can just assume leaderboards are wanted, so we'll add that to the list. So we're going to jump over now and take a closer look at training mode, right, which you mentioned briefly. I also want to note that we're going to do this is a double demo here. Not only are we going to show off training mode for the first time, but we're going to pick Behemoth, our new multiplayer map, for this preview as the backdrop. I think some folks have seen this a little bit, maybe in the trailer earlier this year. We put some concept out on a Monday, but I love this map. It's also brings vehicles back to the arena for the first time in a while, so that's a really interesting new twist. But let's turn over to your point of view here, David, if you want to kind of
take us through training mode on Behemoth. Should go pretty quick. There's a loading screen, beautiful loading screen. And here we are on Behemoth, which is a 4v4 arena map with vehicles. So as you said, it's super exciting to have vehicles back in the arena space. To me, it just helps bring extra variety into that 4v4 experience. So the first thing I'm going to do, so training mode, it's a pretty simple experience once you get in here and play it, but it's hard to kind of communicate it. It's an unlimited bot slayer match. You can go in at any time and hit the pause menu, and this is differentiation. You see this setting here, training options. Players might have seen a hint of this before in earlier trailers, and in here you can go in, customize your loadout to whatever you want it to be. So I'm giving myself a sniper rifle, maybe a BR as well. I'm going to go, let's stick with the frag. You can do primary, secondary grenades, set the equipment. I'm going to give myself the grapple shot. Because I want to show off the map, I'm going to go in here. You can set the number of friendly and enemy bots, and that goes, 0 all the way up to 3 for friendly bots or 4 for enemy bots. You can tweak their difficulty as well. Reveal enemy location. Basically what this does is it puts a little nav point marker over every enemy on the map, so you can actually see where they are through walls. That's super useful if you just want to, because the bot behavior is dynamic, you don't actually control it. If you wanted to focus on your accuracy and things like that, I found that to be a really useful tool. Play fighting is sort of similar to the experience in the tier 3 weapon drills where the bots will engage in their combat behaviors, but they won't actually shoot at you. I'm going to leave that off because at least when I'm playing, I like them shooting at me, because if you're getting descoped and stuff, you can kind of learn how to play around that. I'm going to turn infinite ammo on. And there's this other little feature at the bottom. We're going to ignore that. That's just, for streaming. I don't need that. I don't need that. It's just, just something for the kids.
Wait, so you're on recruit well, you turned the bots off for now.
The bots are off right now. So I'm just going to hop over here. You see man cannons.
Yeah, let's give the community what they want. I assume people would love to get a closer look at this map. So I think maybe you're just going to give us a little tour.
Yeah, so I'm going to just drive over here because I found that the skybox in this map is just
it's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous. It's a good mixture of this sort of desert terrain, Forerunner aesthetic, palm trees. What more can you want? It looks fantastic. I love the new kind of Forerunner aesthetic we're using in this game. So the map's kind of I kind of see it. It's a little bit of Sand Trap. You have the aesthetic, good vehicle play, a little bit of Valhalla with the 2 bases, although in this case, the bases actually face away from one another. But you have this ring on the outside. You can just drive around. It's just fun to do laps, help to pick up buddies on flag runs. It's a super fun space to drive around. I'm also going to pop up here, so give you a little demo showing off the base. There's 2 levels of the bases. There's a grav lift from the lower level. So man cannons, grav lifts, warhogs, oh my, it's the best Halo stuff. It's everything I love about Halo. And I want to give a shout out to Tyler Insrud, who was the level designer on this map. He's just done a great job from the very first take on it. I've just fallen in love with this level. So you have this little path down the middle, which is a great shortcut.
Love the sneaky path.
But you better be prepared because you can get shot from every single angle. So if you're coming down here with a flag, just be prepared. And yeah, so this map's it's just a lot of fun. And I know when we showed it off for the first time, a lot of players thought perhaps it was a BTB map. So, but it's designed around 4v4. A lot of opportunities for, using your grapple shot, using vehicles. Vehicle play is just super great. But also if you're on foot, you have a lot of opportunity for grabbing cover and doing your best. So I'm going to turn the bots back on so I can train for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the friendly bots on, enemy bots.
I mean, Marine difficulty, you can do a little better than that, right?
I think we can. Let's bump it up Spartan and see what we can do.
As Sarah pointed out, the bots are a little more lethal now. They've been training hard since July as well.
That's right. So the bots are back, and you see they join. I think I turned trying to remember if I turned the reveal enemy location on. Let me just double check that to make sure, because I think that's gonna help the time to combat come in.
Okay, so now you got a little extra intel.
So they just used the shock grenade on me. I'm going to retreat.
Right out of the bat.
I'm going to retreat and run away.
By the way, you know, the same arcing effect the shock rifle generates, that the dynamo grenade is going to do the same thing. To great effect, I might add.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to swap to plasma. Where did you come from? For the record, oh wait, I was going to say I haven't died, but I forgot. I said it's deathless. I was feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah, you haven't died. Imagine that.
That first encounter, I felt like I should have died there. So I'm just going to grab cover here. Not doing too good. I'm going to try to
These guys
escape.
are relentless.
Yes, you see how quickly they're going to shred my shields.
You know, so as I'm just gonna update something. I'll mention something that Sarah spoke to in her segment. You know, once the bot arena playlist is live in the flight, it'll be a mix-up of different difficulties on the opposing squad, right? So this is great. If you just want to come in here and warm up, by the way, you can do it. Lots of opportunities to do that, including customizing the difficulty. So
they're using the shock rifle.
they are. Well, it's good.
That's my favorite thing. I don't know if anyone noticed. Like they looked like they were going to take me down, and I just swapped to make sure I had rockets, and that always feels good that you have the upper hand. It's not cheating too. It's the mode.
You know, another thing that I didn't really mention at the outset, which we did mention in the blog yesterday, is when the flight does go live. You know, one thing that's going to be different this time around is we're going to have specified play times.
Yep.
So we have essentially the plan is that we'll have 2 4-hour windows each day where matchmaking will be available. Now, outside those windows, though, you will still be able to play weapon drills and academy. So this training mode will be available 24/7 for the duration of the flight.
Come on, that was a pretty good shot. Give me some credit for that one.
It wasn't bad.
Whiffed on that one. But it's funny. You can just pop in here. You can tailor the experience however you want. I'm going to use this grav lift here, which is a classic sneaky route. Also, you get to turn the infinite ammo. Not only gives you infinite ammo, you might notice I have infinite grenades. I also have infinite equipment charges.
Oh, fun.
So if you want to live out your arachnid superhero fantasy, you can do that. I'm not going to do it because I'm not as good as some of the guys around here that can basically just grapple all the way around the map. He doesn't know I have rockets. Oh, whiffed.
Are you still deathless?
I am totally still deathless. It makes me look good, though. I feel like the audience might have forgotten at this point. But this is also a good opportunity, and I should point out, I'm not doing it here, which is terrible, to just learn the map, learn the weapon placement, stuff like that, in a way that you're in control of.
Oh, you were definitely super combined there, by the way.
No doubt about that. But yeah, at any point, you can go in here, hop back in here, adjust anything you want to. I'm going to make myself not deathless so you can see how quickly I'm going to die. It's going to be painful.
I feel like with training mode, I could finally maybe make my own montage of just doing sick plays. It would be
honestly,
that's deathless against recruit bots.
That's one
I
of the things
I can do a cool montage.
I'm looking forward to that. I think this is going to be a place where people can just really experiment with the sandbox, see how far they can push it, and try to actually do that for reals when the game comes out and do something crazy.
Yeah. By the way, they did melt you. You weren't joking.
One thing I should mention that I didn't mention weapon drills. We have updated some of the quick tips to do a better job of communicating weapons with alt fire. For example, the Ravager, you can hold the fire button down and it'll do damage over time. So I think I'm going to get one more kill. One more kill and then we'll
take us out on a high note. Do something truly epic here. No pressure.
Oh, I didn't get credit for that, but I think my friendly bot must have gotten the kill. Here we go.
That's a team game, right? Oh no! Look at that.
I'm going to get one kill.
Pesky shady
If I die
seal.
again, we'll call it, and I will exit the stream in shame.
I mean, we could just keep going. We'll be here all night.
I don't think anyone wants that. I
There
just
you
put
go.
through the controller
Okay,
down.
that's a good one.
I got a
end on.
kill.
A good one to end on.
Call it there.
So yeah, again, to reiterate, training mode and the weapon drills, for that matter, both be included in this upcoming preview. Both will be available for play pretty much all the time from the moment the build is released all the way till the time the flight is turned off. So encourage folks to jump in, run it through its paces. All the available maps will be selectable through the training mode. I believe their Behemoth may not come online until a little bit later. Similar to last time, we might be staggering some of that content to kind of keep the experience fresh. But suffice it to say, by the end of that first weekend, you would be able to jump in and also play Behemoth as well. So, David, before we wrap up and switch over to BTB, any sort of parting comments or final thoughts you'd like to share with our community today?
Well, it's definitely one of those, as people get hands-on with training mode for the first time, always love ideas. Like as a designer, I want to know what people like, what they don't like. Also, if there's features that don't exist in there that would help them, I want to know about that as well, because we'll add it to our backlog and see if we can add it in there. We already have like a long list of stuff that we want to do. Sarah and the bots team have talked about actually adding more granular difficulty controls to training mode. Maybe you can do different difficulty when you're friendly bots, enemy bots. Really make it a whole sandbox you can experiment and play. Also, maybe down the line, we want to allow you to go in with friendly human teammates in a training mode. That's something we want to do down the line. So we're just excited for people to get hands-on and see how they use it.
Cool. Well, I'm excited as well. I can't wait. In fact, one thing I'm going to do in training mode right away, I don't think I personally really got my sensitivity dialed in last time. It's a little bit different in this game, right? So training mode is a perfect opportunity for me to kind of tweak a little bit, take some shots, and kind of do that in a safe environment and sort of hopefully improve my game by the end of this next preview.
I was seeing people do that weapon drills in the last tech preview, and I think that's last thing is I'll just close out that there's a clear progression we kind of think about as we're onboarding players. Kind of start with the tutorial, go to weapon drills, go to training mode, then bot arena, and at that point you should be fully prepared for matchmaking and playing Halo Infinite with your friends.
Or start in ranked if that's your fancy, right?
Yeah, that's also an option for you, not me.
Well, thanks, David, for the Academy update here. This will be coming out soon in the preview. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by Fernando, and we are excited to show you the first look at a match of Big Team Battle on Fragmentation. We will be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. You just had another little ambient fly-through of Fragmentation. I want to give a huge shout-out to the audio team. I mean, I've had a lot of fun playing that map, and it's very bombastic in the heat of the moment, and this is the first time I've really been able to appreciate some of those ambient sounds, so a lot of depth and layer there. But please join me in welcoming Fernando to the stream. Fernando, good to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here representing the amazing work that the MP team has done for BTB.
So before we jump into BTB, just for folks who don't know you, who aren't familiar with you, what's your role on the team? What's your history with 343?
Yeah, of course. I am a senior multiplayer designer. I am part of the multiplayer design team, and I'm one of the designers working in Big Team Battle, making sure that it's great and it's exactly as we remember and even better than that.
Well, I know you're doing fantastic work. Obviously, the community's super excited about the return to Big Team Battle. I know we've talked a lot about it. We mentioned the Inside Infinite blog earlier, which you can find on HaloWaypoint.com. But from your perspective, just kind of what's the overall kind of elevator pitch? How did you and the team approach Big Team Battle? And specifically, when you knew it was going to come back, it's been improved and it's different. So I'm just kind of curious, what are the goals and kind of how do we end up with what we have today?
Yeah, for sure. I think like a little bit of history here, like right at the beginning when we started thinking about bringing BTB to Halo Infinite, all the designers, we got into the room and we just like share our experiences with BTB, right? Like exciting moments that we had, or like good memories of a LAN party or something, like just to make sure that we're really capturing that essence of BTB. And like after that, we came up with these three very important design pillars for us that we hope that every match of BTB is respecting or is paying tribute to. So the first one is having embracing really the Spartan battle fantasy. It's a thing that is important for us across the whole multiplayer, I would say, but I think it's especially important in big team battle. We really want people to feel like they are like in a real combat scenario with a Spartan unit, right? A lot of things going on, and like having the Pelicans drop vehicles at key moments in the match that adds excitement. And I think like for me, BTB is all about like those special moments that happen thanks to the sandbox, right? And which kind of leads to the next point, which is a very sandbox-driven experience, right? It's a space in Halo where you have the full sandbox at your disposal. Vehicles, weapons, equipment, and all of this like in a big setting with 12 versus 12 players. It just leads to like crazy moments, and like just seeing how those different pieces interact with each other, like grappling shot at a wasp in the air is like a super awesome moment, or like stopping a grenade with a repulsor. Like it's just incredible to see how we just like put the toys there, and then just like fun emerges out of it. And finally, I think, and this is one of the most important pillars for me, is that BTB should be the social space. I think that we should let and empower all the different player archetypes that we might have in Halo, right? So from people that are like super focused on shooting and they're like great with the sniper, and to people that might be like more of a driver, right? Or like myself, that I love to like sneak in and get like the flag cap, and like we want to make sure that there's a space where people can have fun with their friends, right? It's a great space to bring new players into playing multiplayer, right? Like you put them to like the tutorial and the academy a little bit, and it's like, okay, we're ready to go, let's go, right? And let's play together, right? Like you just drive me first, and then like slowly make them comfortable with playing Halo, right? Because I think it's all about like having fun together, right? And having 12 players on each side of the match, it just creates this space.
Yeah, it is super fun. I don't know how else to describe it. Also, I just want to say thank you for embracing the shenanigans archetype, which is kind of really my MO. I'm not even a good shooter anymore, but my shenanigans are in full effect in BTB, and it's super fun. Now, we recorded a match just the other night, right? And I believe this is your point of view, so no pressure. I know you weren't.
Sorry, guys.
This is not a sweaty pro match. Like you said yourself, it's about fun. It's about a social experience. This is kind of raw gameplay. This is recorded on a PC.
Yes.
This is not a trailer. I also just want to give additional caveats. This is from our preview build. So, we're not done. The team continues to work, and really excited and proud of all the great work that's gone into this and the progress that's been made. But, just suffice it to say, we are still in pre-release. So I think with that, we're going to roll this match. It's CTF on Fragmentation. We had 12v12. We are not going to try to cast this, I promise you, but we're going to let it run for a few minutes to kind of let it establish itself, let our audience get a better sort of hear and see what BTB is about. And then I think you and I can just chat a little bit, and I'll ask you to kind of share some thoughts and point some things out about the map and about the gameplay, and just kind of help give our community maybe an edge for when BTB does come in the second week of our upcoming preview. So,
yeah, for sure.
Josh, when you're ready, if you want to go ahead and roll this footage, let's check out some gameplay of CTF on Fragmentation.
Capture the flag. Capture enemy flags to score.
We attacking or defending? Or both? Let's do both.
Okay, so we're going to let this keep playing here, Fernando, but for folks that maybe missed the intro, this is Sketch, joined by multiplayer designer, senior multiplayer designer Fernando here in the studio, giving you a first look at CTF on Fragmentation, one of our new maps that'll be in this preview. Fernando, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit. We saw a chaotic opening there, by the way, those two Warthogs just head-to-head right out of the gate, but feel free to kind of point out some stuff and, you know, just share a little bit with us additional context about what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think first of all, like I would like to talk a little bit about the map, right? Like Fragmentation, this is one of my favorite maps in BTB for Infinite. Like has that like Forerunner aesthetic, feels like almost like a campaign level, right? And I don't know, gives me that Valhalla vibes too, you know. So it's like as a big Halo fan, it's just exciting to play on it. Yeah, like so big shout out to Cliff Scholl, that is the level designer of this map. He did an amazing job with it. Yeah, that was a skewer right there. But yeah, I think that we're playing CTF right now. We have done some tuning, especially for BTB in terms of how CTF plays, right, compared to Arena. I will not give a lot of details on that. I hope that people like get to play it and see it in person. But yeah, we try to make it just to embrace really like collaboration and teamwork. So everyone feels good while playing. Like one of my mantras while working in BTB has been like everyone should feel like a hero in every match, right? Like you should have like a cool moment that you feel like, oh man, I'm amazing, right? I'm great at this game, and hopefully like CTF does that for people. This is a cool thing I think to mention about the map. We have this thing that we internally call the loot cave, right? Where you can bring your AI and hack the entrance to the loot cave, and yeah, you just have to like be careful there and like escort it while your little guy does its thing.
It's just a sub-objective, right?
Yeah,
like
it's just a sub-objective. Doesn't
team,
have
whoever gets here first gets the loot, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, right? It's just like an interesting way of bringing more power into the match and getting cool toys to play, right? Like I just like picked up the gravity hammer there and the overshield. So let's see, like find some people there to use my new toys with, right?
You got all the toys right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy escaped.
Yeah, he got lucky there.
Hey, speaking of which, too, I think by default, you guys talked about scaling the experience a little bit. I believe equipment has, like something like the grapple, has more charges in a big team battle than it would in arena by default, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like we figured that given the extra space, right, like this square footage of the maps, it would be nice to be able to play with the toys a little bit more than just like the amount of charges that you would have in arena. And it plays really well, right? Like especially like if you have the grapple shot, you can just like swing around and have fun with it for a bit, and that's pretty incredible.
Oh, you're really gonna take this thing all the way back on foot?
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Okay, you got a little pickup here. Oh.
Yeah, I always like to like drive the flag and just like don't have to walk all the way to the base and getting a driver, which I don't know. Like I think this is a good also moment to talk about how vehicles play into BTB, right? Like I think they're there to be used, but I would say that they are very incorporated into how the mod plays. You'll see that the Razorback can interact with the flag, for example, and they're just like a core part of BTB. So very big shout out to Brian Berryhill, our vehicle designer. That he did an incredible job to make the Warhawk and the Mongoose feel the way it's supposed to feel.
It hurts me to see you lose that hammer after all the trouble you went to
Right.
hack the cave. I'm not sure you got a kill with it.
Oh, I got
yeah,
a
okay,
good one.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to be back in the man cannons.
This is the commando rifle, which is pretty cool weapon, mid-range, right? Like I always play it in between the assault rifle and the battle rifle in terms of like the role it plays when you're like in a combat scenario.
So I believe some vehicles will kind of spawn at each base by default, right? But then in addition, we have this dynamic element where a Pelican's going to fly in periodically and drop off vehicles as well.
Yeah, that's a completely new system that we added for BTB and Infinite. We have like Pelican drops, bringing vehicles at like key moments of the match, right? To like, there's like some very smart things running on the back to make sure that we don't affect the balance of the match. Again, big shout out to Patrick Wren, and that he's an awesome designer that make it happen. Both that and the loot cave too, right? So he has been creating cool stuff to make BTB really shine and make it bigger and better than what it was.
And we also have this dynamic element of these ordnance drops as well. I don't know if we've seen one yet in this film, right? But periodically, just cool weapons are going to rain down from the sky, right?
Yeah. So you can be just like wandering around in the map, and out of nowhere, like an ordnance drop falls right in front of you, which is one of my favorite animations in the game, right? Like you just like walk to it and it explodes and it shows you like your new toy. And it's a good encouragement for people to just be scavenging around and walking in the space, right? I think that BTB really shines is that you have like different pockets of interaction, right? Like maybe like this corner we are like playing with the objective and like trying to defend the flag, right? But maybe in a different corner somebody's having like a super intense combat, or like somebody else is like trying to stealthy hack the loot cave, for example, right? So there's a lot of moments and there's a lot of things going on in a BTB match. So it's super exciting no matter where you are.
Hey, was that loot cave, does that respawn at any point during the match, or is that kind of a one and done?
No, it respawns. You have to let it reboot. It reboots for a bit and then you can go at it again.
Okay, cool.
Let's get the hell out of here. They know where we are. I see him. The enemy carrier.
Oh man,
You really are the flag runner, huh? You like
I
that.
love running the flag, man. Like it's such a cool moment when you like, you know, you cap it and it explodes and you know like you are contributing meaningfully to like the outcome of the match. It's just so cool, you know. And like I don't know, ideally like it's a team-based game, right? So even if you don't bring it, like you just bring it to the 50-yard line and then it's like it's up to somebody else, you know, and keep like moving it like little ants in the match. That's the threat sensor right there, like just putting in one there just in case somebody wants to get close to the loot cave, right? Can turn back.
The enemy has your flag.
Hope this gives us an edge.
I usually like to use it like that, right? Like behind a wall, and maybe like I can see somebody like
Flag carriers.
crouching behind or something before I commit to a route.
Enemy flag carrier spotted. You're exposed, Spartan. Ah, they spotted us, Spartan. Did some damage.
Really close match.
You know, something else we could mention real quick too. I know we're watching CTF, but in the preview we're gonna have BTB Slayer, BTB CTF, and also a new game mode called Total Control.
Yeah, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Oh,
There's that
here's the
Pelican, by the way.
Pelican drop.
Yeah.
Look at that. So cool. Gets me every time. Yeah, so in terms of modes, we really try to have like a variety of experiences in the BTB part of multiplayer, like from like very classic BTB Slayer experience, right? It's like how you remember it, just like kill the enemy team, right? To like an in-between and an improvement on something like CTF, like I was mentioning, right? To like something completely new, like Total Control. Total Control is area control mode where you have to capture 3 different zones at the same time to score. Once you score 1 point, a new set of zones is selected in different parts of the map to add some variety. And the first team that does that 3 times wins the match.
It's super. It's become one of my favorites. It's just so hectic because it just forces everyone into sort of those 3. There's just a lot of intense combat because everyone's kind of switched together trying to get those zones. Big fan of Total Control. Oh, here we go. Oh
man, so close, huh?
Oh, but it looks like
there it is. It's a win.
You and your team prevailed. I'm sure that your multiplayer colleagues did not go easy on you for the sake of this live stream.
Everybody sometimes like plays a little bit good.
But that was your first look at Capture the Flag on Fragmentation. Like we said, that will be part of our multiplayer preview. Currently, with our original plans, that would be coming in the second weekend. So we most likely will have a double-header approach. First weekend is going to be more focused on Arena. Second weekend will be introducing BTB. So stay tuned. You will get a chance to play that, I promise. Now, Fernando, before we wrap this up, anything else you'd like to say or sort of final words or closing comments you want to share with the community today?
Yeah, of course. I think that I just want people to know that the MP team really cares about Halo, right? And we are all big fans of the franchise. So we really try our best to make this Halo game the best ever. We pour our hearts into it, so we really hope that people are going to enjoy it in this flight and whenever we launch the full game. And yeah, I hope you enjoy BTB and share your clips with us, like of all these amazing moments happening on screen.
Well, I'm sure we will get a lot of good moments out of here. Plus, we'll be out there playing too, right? So
yes,
maybe
definitely.
Maybe I'll be able to get in your squad. My shenanigans plus your flag running. I think we could do big things together.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of wrap this thing up here. As I said at the outset, for folks who maybe missed it, we are moving towards our next technical preview for multiplayer. Pre-selection emails did go out earlier this week to Halo insiders. We are currently in a bit of a holding pattern due to some late-breaking release issues, which may or may not result in a shift to our current schedule. I will get an update once we're done with this stream here today. I ask folks just to keep an eye on Halo Waypoint. We will be providing a lot more information about the flight, including all the instructions and play times and things of that nature. Additionally, always a good idea to follow Halo on Twitter for real-time updates there. But either way, this flight and our next preview will be coming fairly soon. We're very excited to have everybody jump in and help us really push our services to the limit. And concurrency, again, is our number one goal, which is also, by the way, why this time around we are going to be focusing on 2 specific play sessions, 2 4-hour windows. And that's to really help us drive max players at the same time to help us hit those numbers. And it also, by the way, gives the services folks, for example, a window to be able to do some work as well without impacting the live experience for all of our flight participants. I also just wanted to add that for that second weekend that I mentioned, when Big Team Battle goes up, we're looking to go even bigger. And we will be removing some barriers and kind of widening the funnel as a way to bring even more people in. So if you didn't get an invitation to the first weekend, don't fret. There will be additional chances for Xbox insiders to be able to join kind of on the fly via the Xbox Insider Hub. And we're also going to look at a way to distribute additional Steam keys along the lines of allowing PC players to invite a friend for that second weekend. So those details will be coming soon to Halo Waypoint, so stay tuned for that. And with that, appreciate everybody's support, Halo Insiders especially, from the earliest days of the MCC sort of update, road, and journey all the way to where we are today. We would not be here without you. Your support, your participation, your feedback absolutely is helping the studio, absolutely helps us make these games better. And this doesn't stop at launch. Even feedback that we got in July is already helping to inform opportunities and things to go after for beyond launch, because launch is really just the beginning in a lot of ways. So, and I think I just saw it pop up on screen, but just a quick reminder, we do have our special 15% off insider deal going on at the gear shop using code Halo Insider 15. I think that's going to go for another hour or two, 5 p.m. Pacific. So you still got some time if you want to pick up a new Halo hat or t-shirt. Check out the gear collection there from our friends at the gear shop. And that's it then for now. So on behalf of everyone at 343 Industries, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining the Halo Insider program. We will have more information about when the build will be released, and we look forward to playing with you online very soon. Thanks so much.
Why are you here?
To fight.
To win!
To be a Spartan.
What is a Spartan? A Spartan is a symbol. Hope where there is none. In times of darkness, we are hope. And together, we are unstoppable. Candidates, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Again!
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Good. Who's first?